Now it's time for our guest. Lieutenant Joe Kenda is a veteran of the Colorado Springs Police Department with one of the highest case closure rates in the country. After 20-plus years of catching killers in the Violent Crimes Department, Lieutenant Kenda is now reopening his murder books in Homicide Hunter. The show follows Kenda as he revisits each case, his beats, and his crime-solving process. Let's take a look. Everyone, please give a warm BUILD Brunch welcome to Lieutenant Joe Kenda. Woo!
I actually smile. I never smile on my show. But people are always shy. He smiled. Oh, wow. How do you do that?
Well, you have a beautiful smile, and there's no murders to solve here, so you can just be happy. I hope there's no murders to solve yet.
Right.
That's good.
Little do we know, we do a lot of big things for our guests. We kill someone, and you're solving a
Every
murder.
show.
It's still early in the week.
It's too early in the week. Yeah, you're right. It's too
Well,
early.
Joe, there's this obsession, obviously, with these homicide stories and getting into it. So what, though, attracted you to becoming an investigator?
I was always driven by human nature. I liked being around humans. 9 years old. My parents took my brother and I to the Pittsburgh Zoo. And we're at the zoo, and it was a big deal. It was a huge thing in the kid world. We're going to a zoo. I've never been to one. And we are in Pittsburgh, and I'm 9 years old. There's a sign in front of the primate house, and it said, around this corner is the most dangerous animal on earth. Wow. And I ran around the corner, so did everybody else, adults included. And it was a mirror from ceiling to floor.
That is
Oh my God.
And I thought that was an epiphany. I stood there and I thought, well, the sign said, and we're all looking, and all the adults are just, no, this is stupid. No, it isn't.
Yeah.
Humans are the most dangerous animal on this planet. Animals kill for need, humans kill for pleasure.
Oh my
There's a
God.
big difference.
I want you to read everything to me.
Literally.
In that voice.
Yeah.
That was the spookiest shit.
That just changed.
Like,
I got goosebumps.
honestly.
That just changed. I never look in the mirror the same way again. I'm looking like, you're a murderer.
Does not feel like our Queer Eye interview.
Wow.
On that note, you said that you don't want to necessarily tell these stories you're telling, but that you need to. So
It's
why is that?
therapeutic for me. It's therapeutic to talk about what I've seen and what I've done.
Yeah.
I feel better.
Yeah.
I've said more to that camera than I've ever said to my wife about things I've done and things I've seen and places I've been. And it is a form of release for me.
Yeah.
And it's not about it being on television and all that sort of thing. It just doesn't mean anything to me. But feeling better does. Okay. So that's why I do this. I need to check middle names, that sort of thing. Because I remember, you would as well. It's very intense work, and the result is you don't forget. I'd like to forget, but you can't forget. I have a photographic memory, which is both a blessing and a curse. You remember the good, and you also remember all the bad. So I go over that file, and then when they turn the camera on, I have no script. I say whatever I want. They take out the profanity. I don't know why they do that. It's cable, but they do take out the profanity. And I say what I say about a murder case. Now, I have to trim it in some way, because if you present a murder case where it actually went down, the show would last for 16 weeks and nobody would watch it, because it'd drive you crazy. You've done this rabbit warren, that's not the right one. Well, that's not the right one either. Ooh, I like this guy. I really like this guy. He was in jail the night the murder happened. Oh. Start again, okay? Right. So I eliminate that sort of thing, and we take you from the discovery of human remains to a courtroom and how we got there in an hour with the highlights of that case. So I just talk to the camera, explain what happened in the case, why people do what they do, why people lie, why all these things happen. And then at the end of that, they make a transcript of what I say word for word, and they send that to the director of reenactments in Knoxville, Tennessee. And he uses my transcript to write a script for the actors because they weren't there. They don't know what happened. Right. So they present, when they reenact the case and my involvement in it, they only talk about what I say. So it fits together extremely well. Wow. And it's not a soap opera, it's one story. So you can watch this program and learn all about this incident, and when it's over, and you've heard the story.
That's nice.
And I think people appreciate that more than the tuning in every week to see what happened to Mary Jane because now we have to worry about it. No, I don't think so.
People love a procedural, sort of.
It's a procedural, it's the actual what happened.
Yeah.
And it's unlike the movies, okay? Police work is one foot in front of the other. It's you investigate, okay? You talk to people. Homicide investigation is like punching in the dark, in total darkness. You're punching, and you want somebody to say, ouch. And if somebody says, ouch, well, then you turn a light on that person. And so who might you be? And why are you so distressed? I'm asking you about this murder. Because you're different than everybody else. Why is that? Humans are predictable. They don't like to believe that. They think they're sophisticated and they're clever and they're devious, but they're not. Humans you don't change from the time you're a little kid.
Right.
You told bad lies to your mother and you're still doing it when you're 40. This is the way it is.
Yeah, you are, Lucas.
I feel guilty. I don't know what I did, but I definitely feel implicated right now.
I had a guy in an interrogation once, and he told me this patently ridiculous story about how he couldn't have done this, you know. And I said, you know, I got to tell you, I hear stories all the time. People tell me why they didn't do things. And if this isn't the worst story I've ever heard, it's in the top 5.
Right.
What? Yeah. It's amazing. It is amazing. People are amazing.
I'm curious, just listening to you in the format of your show, have you seen Making a Murderer?
No.
Oh,
No.
damn. I would have wanted your take on
I
it.
want-
Anyways,
yeah.
I'll bother you about it later. You must have dealt with all kinds of sort of sociopaths and deranged personalities.
Sure.
Can you speak to that like wide variety of very sort of interesting?
The most dangerous person is a sociopathic person, a person who has no emotion. He doesn't feel guilt, he doesn't feel love, he doesn't feel compassion, empathy. The only emotion he's capable of is rage. Don't make me mad. If you make me mad, I'll kill you.
Wow.
And I won't remember it 5 minutes later. And I had one guy like that, just one. They are, fortunately for all of us, they're very rare. A very rare snake is that individual. They are incredibly dangerous because they have no feelings at all. And this guy was one of those guys. And it became a game with he and I. It was a game as to how many people I knew he killed. Now, we could prove he killed 15. He said he did 23, and the game was, I didn't know about the 8, and he thought that was very funny.
Wow.
Oh, what a great joke.
Yeah.
Why don't we just kill you right now? Wouldn't that be the right thing to do?
Right.
But here he is, he's in prison. He was on death row in Colorado. They commuted his sentence to life in prison. And in response to that, he has decided to sue the state of Colorado, demanding to be executed because he didn't like jail.
Wow.
Oh no, we showed you mercy. We're not going to kill you. I want you to kill me. That's what he's talking about now. So yeah, there are people like that. But there aren't many of them. I mean, that's why people know all the names of serial killers.
Right.
John Wayne Gacy. Gacy, for example, was the president of the National Chamber of Commerce. And there's a famous photograph of John Wayne Gacy in a tuxedo shaking hands with Gerald Ford in the White House during a presentation of a dinner for the Chamber of Commerce. And at the moment he's shaking hands with the President of the United States, he had murdered 17 people.
Wow.
He eventually wound up murdering 33 people, but he was at 17 when he was shaking Gerald Ford's hand.
Wow.
People are able to carry on a reasonably normal life and still have this secret life.
Yeah.
And that's, but anyway, there are not many of those guys.
That's scary.
You must be at this point, though, pretty skilled at telling when people are lying, right?
Sure.
For example, I love this job.
Oh, I don't think we should go there. Unemployment is ugly. There are bills to be paid. You have to go out to,
I love seeing this jokey side of you because it is such a serious topic, but you also
sure
love
it
to
is.
have a lot of fun. We actually have a Halloween clip of you showing your humor.
Oh, that's really funny.
So let's check that out really
That's
quick.
really funny.
Honey, we gotta go. Costume party starts in 10 minutes.
I'm almost ready.
When you're a fan of investigation discovery,
But I'm ready to be apprehended.
Very funny. I'll be right out.
you view the world a little differently.
Honey?
You see things others don't see.
Ta-da!
Lieutenant Joe Kenda?
You don't have to say anything. I know, I look great. We are so gonna win Best Costume.
You do look like the real deal.
I love that.
I love that so much. I love that so much.
What made that so funny to make is when we did that in Los Angeles, and the director said, okay, here's the concept. We're going to have you lip sync her words. So like her voice coming out of your mouth. It's okay. We're not sure how I'm not sure either, so let's do this. And the actress who did that, who played the voice, she sat down with me on the front porch of this house, and I said, I want you to say your lines over and over to me in the same way and manner and emotion that you're going to say it on camera. The pace and how your head moves and everything. Just do that. Just keep doing it. So we did that for like 30 minutes. Wow. So when we did the film thing, it was perfect, except I threw in the hip thing, right? And it made somebody in the thing laugh. And so it killed the sound because it was live sound. So cut, had to do it again. So then the second take was the one you saw. We did it like boom, boom, it was done. It was really funny.
I love that. I love that so much. And you've been in the game for literal decades. And I'm wondering how the process of investigating and solving these cases has changed, like from then until now.
Well, what's changed now is DNA. DNA is a medical plan developed originally for medicine that the police became aware they could use. So that became part of investigative technique, okay? And the DNA advances constantly, where when a DNA first came to this country in 1990, you needed a substantial amount of blood or a substantial amount of something to establish DNA, and even then it would put you in a population figure, 200,000 people have this DNA. Now it's down to the exclusion of all people on this planet. This is you. And they can take it from a one hair in your eyebrow, okay? So it's an extremely deadly type of evidence, to where the defense bar hates DNA, because what do you say to that? You know, you need to come up with somebody that got the Nobel Prize for saying this is incorrect, and they don't have one of those. So it's like, get that guy off the stand. I don't want him to talk more to the jury about, oh, this is the guy. You know, a lot of forensic science is opinion. Fingerprints are opinion. A lot of things are opinion. But not DNA. Wow. It's science. Now, the false promise of DNA, and this is the unfortunate side, humans do it. Humans do the testing. Right. There are 4 people under indictment in a city in Texas for altering the results.
Oh, come
because
on.
they were vigilantes. They saw certain criminals that were getting away with things, and so they just said, well, it was their DNA when it wasn't. Right.
Yeah.
They were submitting somebody else's DNA as the evidence found at the crime scene. They weren't altering the test. You can't alter the test. But they were changing the evidence around. So you still have to be very careful. Yeah. But as long as it's done properly, it's damning evidence. And that is different than when I was doing it. When I was doing it, it was based on conversation. Don't tell me about the fingerprints. Don't tell me that. Where's this guy? Let me talk to him. You learn a lot of things from people.
I know that you learn a lot of things, but I can tell by the stance you just did that you're really good at your job, which is why we love this upcoming season. So thank you so much for joining us
You're welcome.
today.